Oh, yeah, look at that. They need a dry wood to cook their raw.
What else do you need to convince anybody that Nigeria is not a failed state? All right. Good afternoon from Houston, Texas, United States of America. This is Smart Madu Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN. Yes, yes, yes. How are you guys doing? It was a great weekend here, and I hope you had same. I had moments to take a break, and I hope you did take your deserving break. From the work of the past week, and rejuvenated and again to take some more. Yes, we are here at yet another episode of Nigeria Now on ONN. We have other programs. Nigeria Now on ONN is our star program. And the next one is Global Matters Arising. Good Morning Africa and Reggae at East Best that we host every Friday starting at 10 p.m. Central Standard. Yeah, last week edition was great, great, great. I loved it, and I loved the crowd that they came, and we had a good time. We really did have a good time. So today we're going to be talking about Nigeria again. Yes, on its program that is dedicated to Nigeria, and the story, the topic of the day is why an election. Yes, right now with the same oppressors as candidates will lead Nigeria nowhere but doom. Yeah, maybe perhaps the revolution that we are looking for is not looking very great. And we have some questions for the black man. Yes, black man with a European and Arab mind, especially from Nigeria, is the greatest obstacle to Africa's unification. I say that again. The black man with the black skin, with a European or an Arab mindset, especially from Nigeria, is the greatest obstacle to Africa's unification and integration in line with the vision of our founding fathers. But in this broadcast, you're going to be finding out why we are saying this. So if you are joining us for the very, very first time, please, please, please subscribe to our channel. We use this opportunity to welcome all those first timers here. We thank you and welcome you for, just making that effort, to join us here, no matter for how long it is, maybe for a few minutes or throughout the length of the program. We thank you, and we encourage you to subscribe to our channel, and yes, Adebola Akim Folarian, how are you? Thank you. I know you're joining from somewhere in Nigeria or here in the United States. So please do us a favor if you are joining us for the very first time or you are joining as a returning subscriber. Please share this broadcast, and so that more people will come in to listen to what we are talking about, and most essentially, why an election right now, yes, with the same people who have hurt our country in charge or as candidates will not lead Nigeria anywhere. That is the thing. And before we proceed, we have some questions for the black man. The questions that the black man of this generation must introspect on and address. And that the first on the list is, why does the black man hate himself so much? Yes, question. Why is it that the black man does not love himself? Yes, a big question. Why is it that we are always at war with ourselves? We don't hate, we don't like what we have. We don't like who we are. What is the reason for that? Now, question number two is, why is the black man so selfish? Yes, so self-centered. Yes, he doesn't share. He wants to keep everything for himself and his family and his generation. But why the majority is suffering? So why is the black man so self-centered? Why is it that he sees trouble within him? He doesn't think that he should rise up and address it. You see people acting crazy. You see some leaders destroying your country. You keep quiet because, or maybe it doesn't immediately impact you, or because the persons doing it are from your tribe or they worship the same type of God with you, or they are in the same social circle with you, you are selfish. So the question is for you: why are you so selfish? Why is it that the black man is so greedy when he has power? You see, when they have power, black man, when he has power, look at all of Africa's countries. Yes, with the exception of a very few. Yes, when they have power, they get so greedy and they go crazy. Yes, they stand on the people's necks. Yes, and they acquire primitively wealth. Yeah, from what they steal or they steal from their country. So that's greed. That's greed. Number four, why is the black man always available to work as puppet for forces who don't care about him and his own people? Yes. Question. Ask Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast. Yes. Ask Paul Biya of Cameroon. Ask Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. Yes. Yes. Ask all of them. Ask all of them. So why do they work? Why are they always available? Ask Ruto operating in Kenya. Yes. Ask Museveni in Uganda. Ask all of them. Yes. Ask the people in Congo. Why is it that the black man is available, always available to work as a puppet for forces who don't care about him and his own people? Now, number five of that question is, why is it that the black man never wants to build anything, yes, or maintain what others built, except plundering his resources? Yes, 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 yes. The black man, yeah, black leaders, yes. Why is it that they don't build? They don't build anything. Yes, regardless of the massive natural and mineral resources in their continent, in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Why is it that the black man, black leader, does not build anything? He doesn't build, and he cannot maintain what other people have built. He ruins everything, destroys everything. He plunders, he takes pleasure in plundering his country's economic resources. He destroys the economy. He destroys the education. He destroys the healthcare delivery system. He destroys the infrastructure. He makes everything impossible to work. The black man, you have a problem. Yes. Now, if you're a black man watching me, this is a question you should ask yourself. What is it with you? Augustina Arevalo, hey, how are you? Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. All right, help us share this message to as many people, with as many people as possible. Question number 6. Why is it that the black man cannot solve his own problem? Why is it that the black man cannot solve his own problem? Yes, the people, those who fought for the liberation of Africa, for those who fought for independence of Africa. I'm talking about Emperor Haile Selassie, Kwame Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, Sekou Toure. Yes, Abdel Nasser, Jomo Kenyatta, Julius Nyerere. Yes, all of them, they were very good people. The young man from Congo that they murdered. Yes, yes, they were all great guys. But after that line, I'm talking about Patrice Lumumba of Congo. Yes, great guy. Yes, yes. Those guys were good people. Those initial fighters. Nnamdi Azikiwe, those were good fighters. Those who wanted Africa to work before they brought some people to start sabotaging them, one after the other. And since then, we have been having series of saboteurs, those who sabotage the African people, sabotage the African continent, and sabotage the destiny of their own continent. Yes, for pittances that they get from imperial powers. So, question number 6. That's why. Why is it that the black man can't solve his problem? Look at the mess Nigeria is in. Yes, look at the hell everywhere in Africa. They say we have African Union. African Union that cannot solve problem. If African Union was African Union, by now they would have raised an army to invade Nigeria. And not those now blaming United States for coming in to jump in to do what Africans could have done by themselves. Yes. See, ask me again, why do we have Boko Haram in Nigeria? Why is Somalia destabilized? Yes, because Africa cannot solve its own problems. Not because that Africa lacks those who can solve problems, But Africans stand in the way of those who can solve problems for them. When there is an election, what do? They sell their votes to those who cannot solve problems. They sell their votes to those who become puppets. They sell their votes who are driven by economists. Yeah. Why the real leaders are sidelined and scorned. They laugh at us. Oh, you have no money. Yeah, you have no money to share. So now we are reaping the consequences in Nigeria, especially. The Kenyans are reaping it too. And everywhere you go, it's a story of pain and misery, sorrow for Africa and Africans. You know, a continent that has everything. A continent, the richest continent on earth, the richest, with over 45% of the earth's resources residing in that continent. Yes, but we can't do anything for ourselves. We can't build schools that will teach our children to be Africans. We can't build research institutions, yes, that will research into who we are and maximize the outcome, positive outcome for that matter of everything about Africa. We can't do a damn thing for ourselves because of the bad choices we make. We are good at blaming others. We want to be more Arabs. Oh my God, that's what even make me sick. Yes, Africans want to be more Arabs than Africans. Some want to be more Europeans than Europeans themselves. We are Africans. We have everything. The Europeans and the Arabs come to exploit our resources with the help of our criminals who parade themselves as leaders. And this is the reason they cannot solve any problem. Can you imagine an African problem being solved by Europeans? An African problem being solved by Arabs? Do you think they're going to be solving it the way you want to solve? Because we are always in denial. Yes, we hate ourselves. We have no confidence in ourselves. Those who have confidence, we don't elect them as leaders. This is why we are suffering. And the suffering will continue until we change our ways. And this presents us an opportunity to now solve, start thinking about how to solve our problems. I was talking with a young man, it's a friend of mine. We have been having conversations since the past 3 weeks when somebody introduced him to me. I was thinking that he was one man who was going to be reasoning rationally like an African, looking at all the problems that we are dealing with. No, he chose to reason like an Arab. Everything we discussed, he ties it into religion. Everything. No, Africa is not about religion. Nigeria is not about religion. Nigeria is about Nigeria and the Nigerian people. It's not about Islam. It's not about Christianity. Why can't we have decent conversations without involving Arab and a European religion? We are Africans. So this is a problem number one. Why does the black man have to behave like an Arab or European and not like an African inside Africa with African skin color? Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Khaled, how are you? Yes. So here we go. So that's the thing. Why does an Africa, or why do some people, a lot of Africans, want to behave like they are Arabs? Yes, some want to behave like they are Europeans, but they have the black skin color. A majority of them live inside Africa, and you are being reared like a cattle. You want to be a Muslim with an Arab mindset. Yes, you want to be a Christian with a European mindset. But you need to ask yourself, which European wants to be an African? Which Arab wants to behave like Africans? Tell me, everybody defends who they are, but the black people, the African people. Now, question number 8. Why does an African believe that he has to be governed by Arab Sharia law and not the astute African moral value? Yes, we're having a conversation in this direction in Nigeria. Nigeria is an African country. Nigeria is a secular state. It's neither a Christian or a Muslim state. Nigeria is, if we are to advance any cause, we should be advancing the cause of for African traditional religion, not Christianity and not Islam. because those are not our religions. Those are not our original religion. Those are religions from outside. We sideline our own. We minimize who we are to espouse the ideologies brought into our place from outside Africa. It's a shame of a people that somebody wake and you are so proud, advancing the cause of a chaos. Yes, they reduced our continent to a battleground for these two civilizations that have nothing to do with us. And we take our own and put it in the trash. They tell us that everything about us is bad, evil, bad, not good. That even our ancestors were bad. Yes, but these people have their ancestors dating back as far back as 5,000 years. They celebrate them, they worship them, they tell their children about how great they are. But they tell us, no, our own is bad. Yes, if you're a Christian, the first thing when you meet a pastor, yeah, who is just learning to be a pastor, the first thing he will tell you is ancestral spirit. Who does not have ancestors? Tell me anybody, any group on earth that does not have ancestors. But other people celebrate their ancestors. We cause our own. We banish them. We bind them in the name of Jesus. We drive them away in the name of Islam. Yes, who we are as a people. And how do we think we will make any progress with that type of mindset? And we have been recycling this from generation to generation. Today, I call you, African, to start asking yourself this question. Why does an African believe that he has to be governed by an Arab Sharia law, for instance, and not the astute African moral value? Yes, Sharia law here in Nigeria. In fact, that it is politicized. Mhm. It's an affront. Yes, it's a violation of my right from Nigeria, a secular African state, for you to bring anything that is nothing that has nothing to do with us, and you want me to accept it hook, line, and sinker because you are ignorant, because you don't know who you are, because you don't know that you are African. If you want to practice Sharia, go to Saudi Arabia. You can move to Yemen, go to Afghanistan, go to Pakistan, and wherever that is where they have that type of uniformity. But when you come to a diversity as large as Nigeria and you want to force Sharia into the system, you are waking up trouble. And then you have that audacity to believe that I, smart Mado Ajaja, will accept it and give you thumbs up. And then not only that you are bringing it with impunity, you are using it to destroy our people. Yes, in the Sharia law in Nigeria, truly is an act of aggression. Yes, targeting the poor, targeting the poor. Sharia law in Nigeria targets the poor, especially the poor in the north of Nigeria, and with specifics on the Hausa people, yes, who are now beginning to ask questions. Can you imagine in the 21st century, somebody will be so proud that he chopped off the hands of a 12-year-old? Who does that? Yes, who does that? 12-year-old. They chop off their hands. What did the 12-year-old in Gombe? Is it Adamawa State? He stole cell phone. He was hungry. This is a child who has been put in a position where life is bleak. The future is bleak. He fends for himself. He knows no mother, no father. He knows no love. He is in the streets in Kano. He's in the street in Sokoto. He's in the streets in Kasena. In the street in Kaduna. He's in the street in Zamfara. He's in the street everywhere in the north. And now they are spilling over to other parts of Nigeria. Little children, some as young as 6 years old, 6 years old, 6 years old, are in the streets in Nigeria. Yes, Africa's giant. Yeah, giant of Africa that we call ourselves. Children, 6 years old, are thrown into the wild in the streets of Nigeria, begging for food from AM to PM in a country that is so rich in natural and mineral resources, a country that is the sixth largest exporter of oil, a country with the largest deposits of gas, a country that has gold that has been turned, the presence of which has been turned into hell, with Chinese companies funding terrorism right inside Nigeria. Yes, And there's some people, America came, and there's some people are crying, talking about sovereignty, talking about territorial integrity that has never existed. Yes, no territorial integrity, no sovereignty. Nigeria has been violated, has been a victim of violations since independence. So why are you telling me about territorial integrity? Like, if you want us to have territorial integrity, it's time for us to sit down and think and rethink Nigeria. Yeah, the Nigeria of 1914, yeah, it's not the Nigeria we want. Yes, where six persons drawn for three tribes or maybe five tribes, signed an amalgamation, a British authored amalgamation treaty that excluded over the majority of the people that constitutes the mess that they call Nigeria. Who is going to accept it? Yes, I am a Nigerian, period. Why are you asking me if I'm Igbo? Are you a hater? I am a Nigerian. So don't worry about any other thing. I don't care about tribes. I am a Nigerian. I'm speaking truth to Nigeria. That is exactly what it is. I am Nigerian. Take it that way. All right. So, but when we get personal, you want to have me engage me personally. That's fine. Yes. All right. Oh, you have Nigerian in my blood. Oh, that is why. Okay, okay. All right. So be a Nigerian. Okay. Are you of the Igbo extraction? Excuse my word. Sorry about. I thought you were Nigerian from Nigeria because some Nigerians from Nigeria will ask some nasty questions. That is why I got that way. My sincere apologies. Well, you are my sister or you are my brother. Thank you very much for being that. But I want us to elevate our consciousness to change things and inspire hope in our people that we can do it. If America can get to the level where it is right now, there's no reason Nigeria cannot get there, no matter how long it takes. But we must put ourselves in the right frame of mind to make it happen. Yes. Okay. Okay. The kid switch. Okay. I am an American. I have the blood of Nigerian. That we're involved in the slave trade in my DNA. Okay. I am mostly Celtic, but I have some Nigerian ancestry. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Once you have it, you always have it. Be proud. Be Nigerian. Be an ambassador. We love you. Thank you very much for taking your time to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. We would love to. That's fine. That is why we are making these efforts, great efforts, to ensure that Nigeria is open. So when Nigeria is open, Nigeria will be open to business. Nigeria will be open to all peoples from the world, all over the world, including Nigerians like you who have your DNA, who has Nigerian DNA in you. Yes, we need you. We need investors. We need educated people. We need highly intelligent people to come and drive the new Nigeria. So you will be highly, highly welcome. So I am asking some questions of the black man. Yeah, that is why we are not supposed to be where we are as a people. We are not supposed to be where we are as a continent. Yes, we are not supposed to be the continent where everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to give us food. Everybody wants to donate to us. No. And the people who are donating to us, they are donating to us pittance from what they stole from what they came here to take from Nigeria and the rest of Africa. Yes. So this is the reason we are having this conversation. And this is the reason I'm asking the black man a question. I don't care where you are on earth. Black man, you need to wake up. Everywhere, black man in America, you need to wake up. Black man in Africa, you need to wake up. Black man in India, yes, they are everywhere. You need to wake up. Black man in Europe, especially, you need to wake up. Yes, black man in Asia, black man in China, everywhere. You got to wake up right now and represent. Yes, represent positively the best way you can. We want, as the Israelites, as the Jews are moving from wherever they are to Israel, we want to see black people from all over the world moving back to Africa. We will open the doors of access to opportunity to everybody. So all of us can grow and develop that continent. The mother of creation is suffering. The mother of creation. Africa was the first civilization. But people come and rape and go away. Now it's time for us, especially starting with us, yes, who still are Africans, to stand together and Chart a new course. Stop criminals from being our leaders. Yes. Go back to the vision of our founding fathers, led by Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia, to start a new foundation of progress and growth for Africa. An Africa that will be without boundaries. An Africa that will become one country with one economy, with one currency, with one reserve bank, and with one military. That is the foundation. That was the foundational vision our founding fathers had. We must go back to that vision. We must go back to that vision with honesty. We must go back to that vision with patriotism. We must go back to that vision intentionally to succeed. And we can stand tall and with the best from everywhere on earth. Yes. Thank you. I love you, man. I love you. I love you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me read. Yes, we have 5 fingers, being one of the planet Earth. But Nigerians are the 5 fingers, being of Nigerians. There should be peace in the hearts of men and women. For at the end of the day, we are all the same people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the key switch. Much love for this. Yes, this is great. This is auspicious. This is timely. It came at the right time. And we thank you. I'm going to pin your message. Great message that is. We love you for that. And I hope our other brothers and sisters from Nigeria are listening. Now, let's go to the next question. Why is it so difficult for Africans to unite? Why is this so difficult for Africans to unite? If the Arabs and if the Europeans and the Arabs respectively could unite to write the blueprints of slavery, colonialism, imperialism, apartheid, and religious indoctrination with which they have looted, exploited, abused, impoverished, and demeaned us for centuries. Why can't we in this generation unite to begin to undo the damage their actions have caused us and save our future generations from being trapped in the same captivity of poverty and the incapacity to live and not struggle? Yes. Why is it that Africans cannot unite? Why? Why? Let someone tell me the reasons, or 1 or 2 reasons, or many more the African people cannot unite. If a few Europeans could come together in 1884 and 1885 under the instrument of the Berlin Conference, chaired by Chancellor Bismarck of Germany between 1884 and 1885, to chart the destiny of a continent they knew nothing about. And they came after that conference to establish their spheres of influence, leading to the creation of 54 fake countries that had no African input. We did not ask that Nigeria be created because none of us were asked. Our ancestors were not asked. They created and called it Nigeria. They created and called it Ghana. They created Ivory Coast. They created Benin. They created Togo. They created Burkina Faso. They created Kenya, and on and on and on, and all the African. None of our ancestors were involved with the creation of this earth. Yes, the only country that is original in Africa is Ethiopia. That was the only country that was never colonized. Only one country. The rest were man-made. The rest were created by imperial forces. So my question is, if these Europeans could come together, yes, determined to conquer a whole continent, now populated by over 1.5 billion people. If some Europeans could come together in 1884 and 1885, why is it so difficult for the African people of today? If the African people of yesterday failed, what is wrong with us today that we cannot come together to start discussing and then agreeing on modalities on how to undo the damage colonialism, slavery, imperialism, apartheid, and the rest of them cost us as a people? Why? So does it mean that we have no brains? Does it mean that we don't have the men and women who can sit down? So now, why do we have the African Union? I would think that the African Union would have been a vehicle for reversing the damage, the colonial damage or damages done to Africa. But what did they go there to do? The African Union is a useless union that cannot solve one thing. They cannot raise an army. Their secretariat in Addis Ababa, their newest secretariat, was in Addis Ababa, was built and donated to them by China. They always love to take beggars. We are not beggars. We are the richest continent. We have the capacity to do whatever we want if we can come together. So why are we the beggars? Why are we the continent that everybody wants to help? Why is it that Africa is that continent everybody wants to be pitying? Oh, Africans, they are suffering, poor people. Yes, we are not poor. We have terrible leadership. We have poor leadership. So if you're not African anywhere listening to me now, examine the leadership of your country to see what I'm talking about. Yes, it's everywhere. And maybe with the exception of Burkina Faso now, with the exception of Niger now trying to do the right thing, and with the exception of Mali trying to wake up to do the right thing. But what about Nigeria? Nigeria that is supposed to be the heart of Africa. Where is Congo in this whole thing? Yes, and the rest of them. We look at what is taking place in Kenya. Look at Uganda. They just had an election. Sham. So how come is it that we cannot do anything right? So isn't it time we all woke up to start asking ourselves questions, to start taking responsibility? We know that outside our basic human right, the right to life, our right to life, the right to choice, the right to freedom of expression, the right to freedom of association, the right to freedom of worship, and the right to self-determination. We also have rights as citizens of our various countries and as citizens of Africa to stand up for our countries when a few of us are destroying it. Are you doing it? Are you doing it in Kenya? Are you doing it in Nigeria? Nigeria is worse. They are not doing anything. We are not doing anything in Nigeria. We accept evil and adjust ourselves for the next worst evil. That is why Nigeria is a disgrace. And when they say it, they get angry. Nigeria is a disgrace to Africa and the black race. Yes, we made it possible because we went to sleep and allow criminals take over our country. Can you imagine a country being led by a drug dealer? Yes, being led by a certificate forger? Yes, being led by an identity thief? Yes, led with a terrorist, known terrorist with ties to Boko Haram? Yes, and in whose house? Those who bombed the United Nations building in 2011. Yes, were arrested. Are we not ashamed that our country's junior minister of defense is a terrorist and is there? Are we not ashamed of ourselves that our country's national security advisor has his fingers involved with armed proliferation? Yes, arming terrorists against the people of Nigeria. Are we not ashamed? Are we not ashamed that somebody who is not a traditional ruler is trying to breathe down on the people of Nigeria, the sort of Satan of Sokoto? Yes, and we are all quiet. Yes, We are quiet because we are Muslims. Yes, some are quiet because they are so scared of speaking up. Yes, and your country is derailing. Something is wrong, and it's in our mind. Yes, yes, yes. So that's question number 10. Yes, if Europeans and the Arabs, respectively, could come together, they united to write the blueprints of slavery. Uh, yes, both the Europeans and the Arabs enslaved us. The Arab slavery was worse, was terrible. Slavery is bad enough. The Arab slavery for 700 years, the Arabs enslaved the people of Africa for 700 solid years. 700 solid years. And those during those 700 years, they castrated all the black male slaves. Yes, they castrated them, they removed their testicles. They are not wicked. Yes, for 700 years. The Sahara slave trade of mostly West Africans. And I know some came through the Nubian desert, landing in the Arab world. They castrated our male slaves, our ancestors, for 700 years. And then our women, the female slaves, were reduced to sex toys. Yes, sex toys. Yes, that's what they did them. They raped them with reckless abandon for 700 years. And after that, they gave us Islam. Now we have to worship God using their language as a medium. People should ask themselves a question. So how come is it that Africans are not asking themselves these questions? You know this story. You pretend we live in denial. Yes, yes, we live in denial about it. So get offended if you like. Then after that, for another 400 years, came the European slavery. 400 years. Our ancestors, our African ancestors, were created like dogs and put in ships across the Atlantic to Europe, to America, to India, and everywhere on earth. Yes, where they were used as cheap labor, where they were used to advance the cost of agriculture with absolutely nothing for them. Yes, African man. So now, if these people could unite to do all this evil, why can't we, the people of Africa, set a time out for us to discuss how to reverse the damage they did? Then the Europeans, after what they did, during what they were doing, they gave us Christianity. Everything is in Jesus' name. I don't have anything right because the original story of religion, the original story of Jesus Christ was an African story that was taken, politicized, with economists added to it, and repackaged and brought back to the people of Africa. And now it's being used as a tool of exploitation. Yes, Africa, know your history. So if these people could come together, respectively, to write the blueprint of slavery, colonialism, imperialism, apartheid, and religious indoctrination, with which they have looted, exploited, abused, impoverished, and demeaned us for centuries. Why can't we, in this generation, unite to begin to undo the damage their actions have caused us and save our future generations from being trapped in the same captivity of poverty and incapacity to live and not struggle? Yes, that's the question here. So what is preventing us? What is preventing us? What is stopping us? Yes. Why are we not standing up? Why do we hate ourselves? Yes, I am a Rastafarian. Thank you very much. Yes, 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 yes. All right, claim badge. You said it will help if you stop sending your engineers to Europe. I agree with you. I agree with you. But it has to take a leadership. You just can't stop them. You have to give the engineers something to do at home, so where they can hone their skills and try out their hands. But we don't have that leadership yet. And that is the reason for this conversation. And that's why I'm talking to the everyday African to wake up and start taking responsibility, to stop electing criminals, to stop electing ignorance, to stop electing thieves as their leaders. It is a question. It is a question that the African, the ordinary day-to-day African can provide. Yes, because I am from Nigeria. I know what happens uh, during elections. Elections are never real in Africa, and with special reference to Nigeria. Everything about election is fake. That is why I am telling them with boldness that the election, we have had so many elections. Election has proven to be something that produced the next worst leaders. So if we have to do an election, we have to clean Nigeria up before the next election. But otherwise, it won't make sense. Sitting down and then going back to waste another time voting for the same people who don't love the country, yeah, who don't care about the country, who don't care about the young people, who don't care about women and children, who don't care about the elderly, and who don't care about the next generation. That is our problem. Yes, that is our problem, big time. Yes, 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 absolutely. Yes. Yes, okay. This kid which, yeah, you said remember, Christ and Selassie call us brothers and sisters. So just think for a second how much power we have in ourselves. Yes, to do the right thing. Absolutely. 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 But these divisive forces came to pull us apart. Yes, amplifying on the differences that do not really matter to keep us divided. So this is the reason why we must unite. This is the reason why we must be authentic Africans and not what the Arabs and the Europeans want us to be. Yes, if you remember the song of Bob Marley, he said, "We refuse to be what you wanted us to be. We are what we are. That's the way life is going to be." If you don't know, you can't educate us for no equal opportunity. I'm talking about my freedom, people's freedom and liberty. Hey, we've been treading on your wine press much too long. Rebel, rebel now. And we've been treading on your wine press much too long. Rebel, rebel. The Babylon system is a vampire. You hear that right? Yes. That is a call to action song. Yes. To Africa and the suffering people of the world. We should refuse to be what this Babylon system wants us to be. Because all they want is to keep us down. All they want is to keep us divided. Yes, that is all they want. Because if we wake up, if we are conscious, it will be to their loss. That is why during elections, our elections, they get desperate. They take our people, our candidates to Chatham House to make speeches that actually are statements of allegiance to their evil system. And this is why we must now wake up. Do the same thing the United States did. Remember, the United States was a British colony until they woke up and a bitter civil war. It's a country, and that country today is the most powerful country on the surface of this earth, and that is the United States of America. If America could do it, Why can't Nigeria do it? Why can't the rest of Africa do it? Why should we be featuring in British Commonwealth? We are not British people. We don't have any connection with them. They are in their union for the economic benefit that they derive from dividing us. Haven't we had enough? Yes. Yes. Larry Weneke said, I wish we had an interpreter. Have a good evening. Well, I am so sorry. Maybe we have to find a way to put this message in a language, in all the world's major languages. Yes. All right. All right. All right. So it is the same thing. Now, I'm going to have to finish the question. Question number 11. Why are we Africans always fighting and defending religion? Why the world is moving forward? Yes, why do we want to be the best reciters of the Quran? Why do we want to be the best Muslims? Why do we want to be the best Christians? Why are we the only ones who want to go to heaven, even though it's all hypocrisy? And the world is moving forward, and our country is going down. Nigerians, Africans, these are questions for you. This is a question for you. Why are we always fighting and defending religion? Why the world is moving and leaving us behind? Question that Africans, Nigerians must answer. Question number 12. Why have we accepted to be an inferior people, even though we are the first human beings, whose father was the first and the only one God created directly with his hands? Question. How many Africans know that Africa is the first civilization? How many? How many of you know? How many Africans know? Why, therefore, why have we accepted to be an inferior people? Even though we are the first human beings. We were the first human being. We are symbolic. When they say human, we are symbolic. Yes, we are the first human beings. Yes, that the Almighty God, yes, symbolically created with his own hand. God did not create any other human being. The first and only man he created was the black man. The black man is the father of all creation. The black man is the father of the white man. The black man is the father of the Indian. The black man is the father of the Chinese. The black man is the father of the Korean. The black man is the father of the whole world. Yes. So, but why? Why have we accepted to be inferior? Question number 13. Why are the black people the poorest people on earth, regardless of their continents, holding over 50, nearly 50% of the world resources? Is there any reason for the level of poverty in Africa, with everything inside Africa, with everything inside the continent? Everything is inside the continent. Everything is inside the continent. You name it: oil, bauxite, cocoa, coffee, yes, gold, uranium, diamond, everything. Nearly 50% of the Earth's resources is inside Africa. But its population of 1.5 billion people, over 95% of the people live in poverty. Yes, extreme poverty. How can we explain that? How can we explain that? Isn't it time? Isn't it enough question? No, that the African people need to start thinking about. How come we're only good at selling raw materials, but we cannot produce anything? We can't establish companies that we hire our teeming youth population. We allow foreign interest to come, take our resources in their raw form. Yes, refine them and bring them back to us to buy at higher costs. Why can't we? Why don't we have the type of leadership if we cannot do all those production directly by ourselves? Have them establish companies inside Africa. So it will be a win-win situation for both parties. No, they give some people some money Then they tell them, take whatever you like. And he goes, hey, if you are here joining us today, please, and you've not subscribed to our channel, please do so. We will sincerely and deeply appreciate that. And also, if you love what you are hearing today from me, you know, can you please give us a like? That helps us, that inspires us more, to do more, to bring this awareness, to raise this consciousness that has been lacking among the people of Africa and the world in general. Yes, because the world does not know enough about Africa to know enough about what is happening in that continent. So we want to bring this awareness to Africans and the world in general. In Africa. Speaking, coming especially from those of us who come from that continent, you take us seriously about about the inequality. It's real. It's materially real. It is politically real. It is economically real. The people there are suffering and living below poverty line. If you have conscience, and I'm speaking today, right now, to future leaders of the big countries with the power and the muscle to do right. I hope you will, remember this day that somebody from Africa spoke to you about the pains, the misery, and the sorrow the people of Africa are going through. And we are not going to blame entirely the foreign interests. We are not going to blame Europeans and Americans entirely for the problems we have in Africa. A great deal of it has to do with us because of the type of tragedies of leadership that we support. Yes, with our eyes open. So this serves as a notice. If you didn't know before, you are a Nigerian, you are a Kenyan, you are a Sierra Leonean, you are a Liberian, you are from Ghana, and you are from everywhere. If you didn't know that you have a right to question those who lead your country, today is an opportunity for you to know that when they destroy your country, they are destroying you. They are destroying your children. They are destroying their future. So you must stand up and start fighting back. You must learn now to organize, yes, to make sure that only good people come to power in your countries. Yes. Question number 14. Why is it that the black man can't choose good people as leaders? Corruption. Our system has been so badly corrupted. And I can speak extensively on Nigeria. Nigeria is the most corrupt African country and perhaps one of the most corrupt countries on earth. Why? Because only corrupt people lead Nigeria. Good people never lead Nigeria. Only bad people lead Nigeria. It's like a tradition. So when you have evil people, when you have criminals, when you have robbers, when you have terrorists, when you have gangsters, when you have gamblers, when you have killers, you have kidnappers in charge of a country, what do you expect? Why should you expect an Eldorado from such a country? And so, why should Nigerians expect an Eldorado from Nigeria, a country being plundered by a criminal? Yes, a band of criminals. Yes, at all levels and in all sectors. Everything in Nigeria has been compromised. No sector is left. The religious sectors is manned mostly by criminals. Yes, yes, killers, terrorists, blackmailers. Yes, the legislature is all criminals, through and through. The judiciary populated by criminals. If you have no money, you can't buy justice. Justice in Nigeria is for sale. Everything, the emphasis is messed up. That is why they cannot fight terrorism. Yes, everything in that country is messed up. The healthcare is messed up. Educational system messed up. Infrastructure messed up. Can you imagine people who live in darkness nearly every day? And then when there is a glimmer of light, like a twinkle, they celebrate. They put electricity in prayer request that there will be electricity. Jesus will come and make sure that electricity will be available today for this event to hold. Yes, that is how bad they put. If Nigerians put everything, little things that they can do, The easiest thing that anybody can do on earth is in prayer list in Nigeria. That is how bad it is. And I believe it's the same thing with countries around Africa, maybe perhaps with the exception of a few. And that is why we are telling them today, looking at the state of the country, that an election will be a waste of time, especially an election being conducted by the criminal who came to power, buying everything, even from the periphery. So, what type of election are you going to expect from him with his hands on the levers of power? He's the one who appointed the INEC chairman. He has the corrupt military in his hands. He has the corrupt police in his hands. He has the corrupt secret police in his hands. He has the corrupt traditional rulers in his hands. He has the youth leaders of the country in his hands. Youth leaders who don't know who they are, who don't understand what it takes to be a youth in a country. Yes, he had their leadership in his hands. A youth leader who has no job, but is driving the most expensive vehicles, and nobody asks questions because he has been picked as an agent of the drivers of government. Killers all over the place who are young people who don't know who they are, children who don't know their history. Yes, what do you expect from an election organized by that man? Unless it will lead to a revolution. Are Nigerians ready to revolt? A people in the 2023 election, an election that produced a winner that was never declared a winner, and both the winner and the young people of the country went to sleep, telling us to hope in Jesus Christ. Even as Joe, God Almighty has given us the power to do the same thing that we are asking Jesus Christ to come and do for us. Jesus did not vote in that election. The people of Nigeria voted. They stole their votes. Instead of rising, they went to sleep. They were expecting the corrupt judiciary to do justice for them. But we know that they were not going to do anything but affirm the illicit victory of the criminal now holding the country hostage, destroying the economy, destroying everything. Can you imagine an economy? They said food prices in Nigeria has crashed, but yet the people of Nigeria, the ordinary person of Nigeria, cannot afford to buy those foods. They do not understand what it takes to have a depressed economy. That's depression. The Nigerian economy is in depression. There is food, but the people cannot buy the food because they don't have the purchasing power to buy the food. A country with a unemployment rate that is as high as 40%. Actually, more than half of the youth population in Nigeria are jobless. Education is bankrupt. When you see a typical young Nigerian who says he has a degree, listen to him or her and the content he brings out as a graduate. You will cry because teaching and learning is not taking place in Nigerian schools. The professors are some of the worst paid people on earth. But a roadside criminal who goes into politics will rake millions of naira every month for doing absolutely nothing. Isn't Nigeria ripe enough for a revolution? That is what we see. That is what we feel. That is what we think. But the level of consciousness of especially young people is so low. They are not thinking. And they are not listening to thinkers. They are not listening to those who tell them the truth. As we stand, as we speak right now, a great number of the young people of Nigeria are already campaigning for their oppressors, those who brought misery upon them, those who created the unemployment for them, those who make light not shine in rooms, in houses, those who make small businesses not thrive, those who are morally bankrupt and intellectually bereft. They are drumming up support for them. Nigerians are singing a new national anthem, a personal national anthem of a crook, of a criminal who went through drug investigation and was found guilty here, but paid the American government in order not to go through the full trials that could send him to jail. He paid nearly 500,000 US dollars. And then he left here and returned to Nigeria. Nigerians are singing his national anthem that on his drugged mandate, on his fraudulent mandate, and on his identity theft mandate, they shall stand. And you see millions of Nigerian youths who are supposed to be inquisitive, who are supposed to be angry, who are supposed to be saying, no, we can't take this anymore. Sadly, they are at the forefront of driving this evil. Since the past 3 years, they have been complaining about how difficult things have been for them. But no, with little pretenses, these young people in Nigeria will be ready to sell their future. Yes, they saw the Nepalese youth the other day, what they did to bring normalcy to their country. And you know what? Nigerian youths were celebrating them. They saw what happened in Senegal a few years ago when 2 youths who were imprisoned were released and they came out and won a presidential election. Nigerian youths were waving the Senegalese flag. Nigerian youths were waving the Burkina Faso flag when Ibrahim Traore came to power. But Nigerian youths will not stand up for themselves. They won't stand up for their generation. They won't stand up for their country. They won't stand up for their future. They will stand behind those who exploit them. They stand behind those who abuse them. They stand behind those who rape them. They stand behind those who mastermind terrorism and banditry in their country. Nigeria has a funny generation of young people. I have worked with a lot of them from across tribes, from across religions, and from across all other spectrums. The outcome is the same. We have a young population that has been infected with corruption. They are selfish. They can't delay gratification. Everything about them is money, 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 money. They can't sacrifice. They can't sacrifice. They can't hold out protests for long enough for them to get the outcomes that they need. Give them money. It's all about it. Then that's it. That is why terrorists are in charge of Nigeria. That is why bandits are in charge of Nigeria. That is why drug dealers are in charge of Nigeria. That is why thieves who ran away from the United States are holding strategic positions in Nigeria. Yes, a thief who ran away from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, is the chief of staff of Rogue President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One of them, a governor who went to jail in Florida, is governor of Ogun State. You want us to continue to name them? All dotted criminals. Criminals everywhere in Nigeria. Some who ran, I know two from my place. One of them ran away from the United States because of her involvement in a large-scale credit card fraud. She came back to Nigeria and became a member of the House of Representatives. Yes, from my place. Yes. Another one ran away for writing bad checks here. Now he's a political consultant with a higher ranking position. And Nigerians go there to worship them. So how can a country like that move forward? So, my dear brothers and sisters in Nigeria, I am not a fan of an election in Nigeria. Before we do the next election, let us wake up and clean up the country. Because with these criminals in power, you will not have any election. Forget about the opposition that they are talking about, ADC opposition. Who are in the ADC? Check it out. The people in the ADC, who are they? Abubakar Atiku, Vice President of Nigeria for 8 years, a thief who wrecked the country. Yes, he had a 3 million, over $5 million US dollar home here in Potomac. Yes, Maryland. All right. He was involved in a scam involving Halliburton and a US congressman, William, William Jefferson. Yes, America, great country, arrested Jefferson, put him through prosecution, and found him guilty and jailed him for 14 years. Yes. For a crime he committed with Atiku Abubakar. If you are an Atiku Abubakar fan, you hear me now? Tell him to sue me if I'm lying. The records are there. But what did Nigeria do? Atiku Abubakar ran away from the United States, sold his multi-million-dollar home, ran back to Nigeria. And since then, he has been involved in one presidential election or the other as a presidential candidate. Shame on us, Nigerians. Shame on us. We love evil. We need to shut up our mouths until we wake up and change the trajectory. When people say we are corrupt, don't get angry. When they say call us all kinds of names, why should you get angry? If you are so angry, join me. Let us wake Nigerians up. Yes. Yes. Before you know anything, tribalism. I'm Yoruba. I'm a Fulani and all that. Yes. Where has that led us? Doom. How can Nigeria fail so fatally the way it is failing with all the resources it has? Something is wrong with us. Something is wrong with our heads. Something is wrong with our brains. Something is not wrong with those who come to exploit the yawning opportunities that we present them to steal from us and then come back and give us pittances as aid. Why should Nigeria be taking aid from anybody on earth for it? Why should America be funding some aid programs, especially in the north of Nigeria? Yes, where 10 out of 13 leaders of Nigeria came from. And yet, poverty, when you talk about poverty in Nigeria, it's in the north of Nigeria. 99% of the people there are poor. Due to the tragedy of leadership brought upon the country by those damn stupid leaders who emanated from there. Yes, religious bigots, hypocrites, criminals, thieves. And they are the ones bringing Sharia, all right, to shut up the Hausa people who are raising up their fingers. They don't use the same standard that they use for the poor Hausa people and to try them. We have a Malami right now going through trial for billions of dollars that he stole from Nigeria. He was the country's immediate past attorney general and minister of justice. He was working with Boko Haram. Yes, he shielded them from prosecution, and then even was a part of the Boko Haram raid of the largest Nigerian prison at Kuje in Abuja, center of Abuja. They came there. Boko Haram came, operated for 3 hours. The chief of army staff then was a Fulani. Attorney General was a Fulani. The director of DSS was a Fulani. They did absolutely nothing. The police was headed by Fulani. To tell you how these people are, all the Fulani elites are they unleashed kidnappers in the city. With Abubakar Malami as Minister of Defense, writing legal blueprints for protecting criminals, terrorists, and the people of Nigeria were sleeping. Today, he's facing trial for a large-scale embezzlement that is unprecedented. And he's saying that he's being prosecuted, even with the mounting evidence, incontrovertible evidence against him. He has over 70 bank accounts scattered around the world. But the funny thing, the Sharia law that they want for others, the Sharia laws that they want for the Hausa people, the Sharia laws that they want for the poor Muslim in the north, is not being used to prosecute him. Idris was the Accountant General of Nigeria, of the Federation of Nigeria. Idris stole over 109 billion naira. After he stole, he went to the Emir of Kano and was given a chieftaincy title. Yes, chieftaincy title for a criminal who stole Nigeria blind. And then when he was arrested, they did not use the Sharia to touch him, to prosecute him. Yes. And you know what? That case died because perhaps he joined the APC. When you join this political party, it's a terrorist organization, APC, the ruling party, and you are a criminal, your sins will be forgiven. The same thing governor of my state did, ex-governor of my state, Ato Ifeanyi Okowa. At the termination of tenure, he was alleged that he stole 1.3 trillion naira. In addition to borrowing 150 billion naira ahead of the 2023 election, with which he funded Atiku's presidential election. Atiku is another Fulani man. For a red hat he gave to him to present himself as the Igbo vice president. The fraud in Nigeria is just too much. Now, when he was going through prosecution, I'm talking about Ato Okawa, once they arrested him and took him to Port Harcourt, he quickly joined the APC, or terrorist party of Nigeria. And today, Okawa is running a race to the Senate. He's being advertised by young Nigerians from my place. Nigeria is rotten. And when we speak, I speak, when we speak, they will tell you that you are envious of them. Why should I be envious of a thief? He's a thief. He's a criminal. And that is the youth that they use. It's the youth in Delta North. It is the youth of Africa, where I come from, that are advancing a cause for the senatorial election of this criminal, who started his political career as a secretary to a local government. Then later he became chairman of the local government. From being chairman of local government, he became a commissioner, state commissioner of different ministries. And then from there, he became a secretary to the state government. From being secretary to the state government, he became the governor, senator. He went to the Senate for one term. From coming out from the Senate, he became the state governor for 2 terms, 8 years. And now he wants to return to the Senate, as if his father is the owner of that part of Nigeria. And Nigerians don't see anything wrong with that. Even with all the atrocities he committed that are there for them to see, they don't see it. Nigerians have mental problem, and it is called Stockholm syndrome. So why should an election solve all these problems that I have just itemized for Nigeria? It is impossible. Nigeria needs a hard reset. Without a hard reset, Nigeria will not go anywhere. Without a hard reset, Nigeria will not go anywhere. And because Nigeria will not go anywhere, Africa will go nowhere. Because Nigeria is too strategic. Nigeria has all it takes to change the story of Africa. But they cannot change that story. Africa will not change its story with this type of leadership in Nigeria. And that is why I tell you, Africans, you are mostly cowards. If the African leaders, because all of them are corrupt, they can't do anything about Nigeria. Nigeria right now ought to be invaded by the African, if African Union ever existed beyond its name. So shut up your mouth, Nigerians, who are saying that the United States intervention in Nigeria is a violation of our country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. You don't have a country in the first place. So when you don't have a country, why should you be talking about territorial integrity and sovereignty? But we can have a country now if we unite and purge that country. It is deserving. It is now and not tomorrow. Let's do it. Forget about this election. Even if the Peter Obi that all of us see as a saint is awarded the presidency of Nigeria today, he will be a lame duck president who will not be able to perform a damn thing. And the reason is because of the company he is in right now. How will Peter Obi perform as president of Nigeria with an Atiku, with Issa Pantami, a terrorist, with Rufai, a terrorist, with David Mark, a corrupt man, and all the other people that are driving that party? Peter Obi will not do a damn thing. So if you must understand that Peter Obi cannot be the president alone unless he can decide to be a dictator. But I don't see him. He's too nice, a nice man. He wants to, maybe he just plays nice. Yes, he doesn't. I don't see him as one who has a spine to put that hammer down on Nigeria to purge the country. It's impossible. We have to push all of them out and open a new door for the liberation of Nigeria. With this, I say thank you very much to all those who joined us, and for especially those who subscribed and all those who made contributions. I appreciate you guys for your immense contributions. While we look forward to seeing you, and those who have not liked this program, even though they like it, maybe perhaps they forgot that they could like us. Please put a like, press the like button. It inspires us to do more. But for me and for ONN, we are not retreating and we are not going to surrender until Nigeria is set free. We are at it. So join us always, and every time you see us online. We look forward to seeing you some other time. Bye for now. And much love from us. Bye bye.